What's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with the Success Chronicles, episode number 1. And we have my man Mike Truth Johnston with us this morning, afternoon, whatever time it is you're looking at it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get down to it. First of all, our first question is, how do we know each other and how did we meet? You want to tell that story?
Yeah. So Coach Chip and I met at what was supposed to be a Lil Wayne show during South by Southwest, and I was there to do a live painting. So I was hired to paint Lil Wayne's face, and I guess Cash Money was putting out a new mixtape, and he was supposed to be there, and we had a good time, got to know each other, even though Lil Wayne never showed.
Yeah. So I put it like this: it was a disappointment that we didn't get to see Wayne, but to me, it was cool because I got to meet you. How about that?
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Can you kind of tell us like your life story? You know, kind of where you're from, where you grew up. You know, kind of up until now.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I grew up in a military family, so moved around every 2 or 3 years. So I think that made me kind of adaptable to different situations. And so at the time, it wasn't the most exciting when we had to say goodbye to our friends and go somewhere new that was different and strange and sometimes scary. But as I got older, it was something that I definitely appreciated. And so yeah, I went to college and studied art and was an art teacher for 12 years. And I've been married to my wife for 11 years. And we saw about 2 years ago, it just looked like the art that I was doing on the side was really gaining some momentum. So we took this leap of faith and said, all right, say goodbye to the regular paycheck, stepping into a world where you don't know maybe where your next client or project will be coming from. And I think our faith in God really helped make that process a bit more smooth. And so for the last 2 years I've been doing full-time art, and I go by the name Truth. And I found, I guess the last 5 years I've been doing street art. Yes, represent.
Yeah, represent.
So in the street art world, artists usually will pick a name to go by. A lot of times it's because a lot of the street art that's being done is illegal, and so it's I guess safe to have like a nickname or another name that you go by. So I chose Truth just because that word has a lot of power.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, and even for people that don't have a faith, just that word truth is kind of like a standard, something I try to achieve, something I try to live up to. So yeah, I feel really fortunate that I can be an artist full time, and to the point that my wife, ever since spring, so the last maybe 6 months, she's been working with me and helping me on projects because the workload has been picking up and more people have been hiring us out.
Well, I can say, you know, that word truth is a pretty good description of everything about you. You know, I think that, you know, the type of person you are, I think, you know, the talent that God has blessed you with, I mean, I think it's all the truth. And I think that's I
appreciate that, Coach.
Yeah, and I think that it's a very good representation of the person that you are. But the next question is your career, and you talked a little bit about, you know, that you're, you know, a street artist. Kind of what areas do you do most of your work? And I know, you know, some of the things where your art is, and but the world doesn't know. So if you can kind of explain some of that and how you do that.
Right. So when I do my street art, my goal is to not vandalize or do anything that would, I guess, legally really put me in trouble. So I pick things that would probably just be completely overlooked in normal day-to-day life. So I pick dumpsters, I pick electric boxes at intersections, I pick sometimes poles that are supporting bridges. So I'll make a poster at home. Maybe it takes me an hour and a half, and then I'll go to that spot and it'll take me maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Just glue that poster to that space, and I'll come back later, take a picture of it, load it up to Instagram, Facebook, my social media, and just with the intent that people would be encouraged, people would be maybe on their commute to work, and then they just see something that'll brighten their day. It might be a dinosaur that I created, or it might be Mr. T. And they'll see this, and hopefully it'll cheer them up. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and even though I might have different clients with certain requirements that they want, my street art is always something that is like an expression of what I would like to see, like in my neighborhood.
Right.
And so it brings me a lot of joy to do that.
And it's inspired from your passion, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, a lot of your art is amazing, and I tell you that, man, God has really blessed you. I tell you that often. I think the one that really, there's several, of course, all the ones that relate to music, because both of us are music guys, old school music guys.
Yeah.
But I think the one that hits me hard is the Martin Luther King one, and, I have that, I use that as a background on, some of my devices, or, I think it's an amazing picture, and it says a lot in the detail. I mean, it's pretty cool. So, it's all right. What are 3 things you have accomplished in your life that you are proud of?
I would say getting married was something that, ever since I was a kid, that was something that I knew I wanted to be married.
Right.
But being a redhead, I felt like the cards were going to be stacked against me. So when I met my wife and she and I really hit it off, I knew that I got to marry this woman before she might.
You can't let her get away, huh? You can't let her get away.
So I would say that's something that I'm very proud of, being married. I'm proud to say that I taught for all those years, 12 years, where I just got into it thinking, okay, it's something where it is safe. There is a paycheck. I get to talk to kids about art, but I never would have guessed I was going to do it for that long. So the fact that I did teach for 12 years, that's something I'm proud of. And then now being a full-time artist, I would say that's something that I'm proud to say now.
Yeah,
I'm living the dream, Coach.
There it is. Those are 3 big accomplishments. What is your definition of success?
So for me, I had this conversation with people in my family and some other artist buddies as well. I don't put a price tag on success. Like, I don't see it as a money thing. For me, success is more about time and freedom.
Right.
And so with that, take freedom, for example. If I'm successful the way I want to be successful, a client would approach me and they wouldn't say, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do this, this, and this, and pretty much take away my creative freedom.
Right.
Instead, they would just say, all right, here's money for this project. Do whatever you want.
Do your thing.
Yeah, and just like the trust that would be involved, that I would come to, I guess, a final product that they would be excited about. So that freedom, and then also just success connected with time, knowing that time is such a precious resource, and knowing that maybe I work hard for 3 weeks, and then my wife and I go out of town for a 3-day weekend. Having that time available to us, and I guess along the lines of back to freedom. If say a client has a certain project that just doesn't feel like a good fit,
right,
I don't have to take that project because, man, we need that money, but instead pass that project off to a buddy of mine or something like that.
So prioritizing based on what's important to you.
Right, yeah. So having more time for my wife and I to spend together and time with friends, because I would definitely say in the 2 years that I've been a full-time artist, there's been plenty of working weekends,
Right.
plenty of working even when we do take some time to go out of town, still doing work when we're away. So I've just been thinking about that more, just success, being able to do more of what I want. Even though art is my passion and it's what I enjoy doing, sometimes with these projects you kind of feel bogged down with
Right.
what the client might want.
Okay. Well, what do you think it takes to achieve success? And this is our last question.
I definitely say it takes perseverance and drive. So, like for me, doing street art really helped get my name out there. It wasn't my initial intention to be out in the street advertising for myself. I just did that because I enjoyed it, but it turned out to be a great advertising tool.
Right.
So people started seeing truth on these posters, and they would start to reach out to me and ask for, can you do some artwork for my home? Can you do a mural in our office? And so over those, those 5 years that I was doing street art, it turned out to be like a free advertising tool.
Right.
And even though I was still teaching at the time, I might get up at 4 in the morning to go and put up those street art posters and then go to school. And then, at school, I'm making more posters that I could put up. And so even though I was teaching, in a lot of ways I felt like I was full-time teacher and full-time artist towards the end there of my teaching career. And so it took a lot of work. It was tough. That
Right.
last year of teaching was probably the most stressful for me personally, and also the most stressful for my wife and I. And I know that looking back, I know it couldn't have been done any other way. Like I needed to do that. I needed to keep pushing. So yeah, I'd say for success, you definitely I remember you sent me that clip about wanting to succeed so bad, like you need to breathe.
Right. E.T. Yeah.
So E.T. said it well, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I think a lot of times for younger folks that I've worked with and talked with, they see kind of where you're at now,
But they don't know the grind.
Right. They don't see how much effort and time and sweat and tears you put in leading up to that point. So I would say, being living proof that you can do something and get paid for it, something that you're passionate about. But it's not going to be glamorous at the beginning, and it's definitely going to take time. And so even though, I've been doing full-time art for 2 years, I'd say there's still a ton of room for growth, and still a ton of room for me to become a more talented artist and a better business person, better organized. But I guess in a way I'm seeing some of the fruits of some of that hard work, how it's paying off.
You hit a lot of points on things that I believe in too. As far as dealing with success and getting to success. And you talked about getting up early and working, and putting in that extra work. Basically, the early bird gets the worm. You also talked about, doing things together. Like, you had to get up early and do your work, like as well as do your real job, your work. And so mixing the grinds and prioritizing to make sure that you get to where you want to get. I think that's the season of when you see, your hard work. That's when you see it blossom. Because there's a window of time to where you just feel like you're delirious because you're just working so hard.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to. Like it's like you said, it's no other way. Like if I want to get to this point from point A to point B, like this is what I have to do, and you have to be determined to do that because it can break you. And having the perseverance, it pays off. Like you just said, starting to see the fruits of your labor, and you can look back on it and say, "Hey, man, I'm sure glad I did that."
Yeah. And along those lines, going off of something E.T. had also said about to not being outworked.
Yes.
I was really impressed. He said to not be outworked even at home. And I think that's a big thing too, finding that balance where I work super hard at my my craft and my profession, but to not neglect other responsibilities like loving your wife. I don't have kids, but I know a lot of times kids could be neglected in that sense where you're chasing your dream and you're kind of giving them the leftovers. So just for me, I'm still trying to find that balance as well.
And that's another point too. Just you have to give 100% of everything you do. And I think that it's a continual process. You have to do that every day. And evaluate yourself. You gotta look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, am I on point with this today? If not, then I gotta make it better tomorrow. And that's an everyday process. Well, I mean, if you want to be great, if you want to be successful, and so I think that you have to do those things. Well, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you, period. But then I really appreciate you taking the time to do the Success Chronicles with us today and sharing your story and putting it out there. And I tell you this all the time. God has blessed you with an amazing talent. And I just encourage you to keep up the great work because it's very inspiring to lots of people. So.
Man, I appreciate it, Coach. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. I feel honored to be the first person to be interviewed. So
there it is.
Wish you the best of luck with this series.
All right, thank you so much. Take it easy.
All right, take care, Coach.
Bye.